Hi, this is Stacy, and I wanted to respond to a comment that I just saw from a week ago in the ServiceNow Agent Madrid tips, tricks, and things I've learned along the way. As you know, my TechNow demo didn't go so smoothly. I had to punt on that, but I learned lessons along the way on that one too. Anyway, a user wrote in about a week ago. I'm hoping that they resolve this in the meantime, but if not, I wanted to respond. Although I'm getting challenges while using the app, I'm trying to clear values in a reference field on the incident detail page, but having trouble doing that. So I wanted to go through a use case myself, make sure that I could do it, and show and share how to do that. So I thought a good use case would be as follows. If I open up the ITSM mobile application on my phone, we can see that I've got an application for incidents. And in here, I've got assigned incidents. 7 of them are assigned to me at the service desk, and there are already several swipe actions in here to resolve, reassign, add comments, as well as there's an assigned to me. So I thought a good use case for showing how to remove a value from a reference field would be a corollary unassigned function here that we could put as a swipe action on the summary page as well as on the incident detail page. So with the swipe action, we've got several things in play, pretty much all the blue, green, and yellow in here. But the real workhorse that makes things happen is the action item. This is the thing that actually updates the record. So we're going to use the assigned to me as our model and then essentially do the opposite. So we'll begin by looking at the action item and the item parameter that we pass in. So let's take a look. We're in incident and we'll just drill down through the applet for assigned incidents. So we are in assigned incidents here. We can see the functions that we saw when we were able to swipe. Some of these are conditional. That's why we didn't see 5 of them in a row. All right, so action item, assigned to me incident. By the way, this was labeled assigned past tense, so I did clean that up just a little bit. But anyway, this is the model that we're going to use to create an unassigned. So we have the name of it. It's an update to the incident table. We're querying where the sysid is whatever write-back parameter we pass into it. And in this case, for assigned to me, we're setting the assigned to field to whoever we pass in. Makes sense there. And we can see that we've got 2 item parameters defined here. We're going to create something very, very similar to this. So we're just going to call ours unassigned to me and do an insert. Okay, so we've got assigned to me. This is our model, and we can open up in the next tab over the unassigned to me. So in here, we can see that in our copy, we don't get the related list. We don't get the item parameters. I'm going to clear those out just to be safe so they're not pointing to bad values. Okay, so fresh slate here, we're updating incident. We're assigning to nobody, which is coincidentally what we want. But we are going to need 1 item parameter in here to pass in the sysid of the record that we want to update. So let's click New to create a new item parameter. And I'll put the suffix in here, WB, for write back, and it's okay as a string. We save that, go back to our main record. By clicking on a filter, we can refresh the view, and now we see that we've got our write back parameter there. And using our little cannonball, we can pop that open and plug in our variable there. Okay. So we've created a new action item. We've created our item parameter for the write back. This is the last step in green where we map the blue side with the yellow side and we get green. Okay, so let's go down this side. function is what we need next, otherwise known as action in Studio. So here in the actions, we see one that says assign to me. Just like before, we're going to use this as our model. I'm going to call ours unassigned to me, and we'll do an insert. We'll open up the one that we just created so we can have those side by side. We flip back over to our model, and we see that this is an action item operating on a record, and this is calling the assign to me. So let's go over to ours and point to our new action item that we just created, unassigned to me. Quick interim save and look back at our model. Okay, the condition for when this function appears in our model for assigned to me, you can only do that when assigned to is empty. Well, on our side, we want to have our condition be assigned to is dynamic to me. So you can unassign it from yourself. Makes sense? That's the opposite. Back over to our model, we see that assigned to me requires two parameters: who to assign it to and what record to assign. Oops, sorry, I renamed this accidentally before in playing around with this. So we need to create our UI parameter here. We're not going to need to set the assignee, so we simply need the sysID of the record that we want to pass in. Make sure that you're on the default view for this as well. I got into kind of a circle where we were looking at the Mobile Studio view, which didn't have all the fields. So we'll give it a name. Button is fine. Input source is autofill. We don't want to have to ask the user for a sysID. Our input type is a source field. Parent table is incident. And the source field that we want to pass in is the sysID itself. Input style is none. We don't need to see this. Okay, so that sets our UI parameter. Now we just need to hook them together. Again, here, clicking on our filter, we can see that UI parameter exists now. So we've got our function, we've got our UI parameter. Last step is to hook these two together, and that's done on our second related list with a new action parameter mapping. We've got our sysID of what to unassign, matching up with our UI parameter. So this is for our action item, this is from our function. We've got those, and now when we refresh, we've got that hooked up. So now we've got this side done in yellow, we've got most of this blue done, and the green, but we need to make it visible on our menu function. So that's all the way back onto our applet. By default, you'll see the data and fields on the primary screen, but we can flip over to functions here. Now remember, this is our list of incidents. So let's create a new one. Unassign. And just to be different, we're going to make it a left swipe so it's easy to see, and pick our function that we just created. That's an action, and we called it unassigned to me. Done. So this label is what we'll see when we actually do the swipe action. Let's take a quick look at that on the mobile application and cross your fingers. So let's double check. We have one. This is assigned to me as the system administrator. So let's go all the way back out. Swipe down to refresh our code. Go back in, assigned incidents. And here now we see our unassigned. We click that. Let's dive in there. And we can see that we have cleared out the value for this reference field. Let's check this out also if we go into the details page for our applet. And here again, we'll reuse that function that we created. And let's add that here as a top menu function. Unassign and build once, reuse many. We're done there. We'll go backed out, refreshed, and let's go in there, assigned incidents. Let's assign that one back to me. Drill in. And now our top menu function, we have our unassign. Let's give that a whirl. Saved. And now assigned to is blank. So the answer is yes, the application does support clearing out reference field values. Good luck with the rest of your development.